So we are going to go to the third part of tasting, and the third part is actually going to be the palate, which everybody likes that part because who doesn't? And one of the other things I kind of want to go over is what I am looking at right now is going to be a slideshow that I actually made, which is kind of fun and different. It gets pretty intense, so I'm just kind of going over just exactly what they asked you for and what they want if you would actually take a test. And right now I'm just scrolling through all of my slides because it's pretty cool. So I have about 80 slides that I actually made to make sure that if I take another test, which would be the big one, that I have everything marked and I'm ready to go and I can make my assessments and my judgments about the wine and make sure that I pass because I'm geeky like that. Okay, so now we're going to taste the wine, which is the fun part, but unfortunately for me I have to spit it right now in front of the camera. Okay, so we're going to taste it. This wine is dry, however there is some residual sugar in it. Fruit, I get baked apple, baked pear, lots of pineapple, a little bit of mango, kind of like a melon rind as well. Fruit characteristics, it's more baked fruit, a little bit of like a stewed fruit almost. It's kind of a hotter wine. Vegetal. I don't really get a lot of vegetation. There's some herbs like sassafras. And then there's some floral notes as well. I kind of get in the palate. And there's like a little bit of phenol. It's like a little bitter component, but I do still believe it's very low in tannin. But I do get that. There's some spice in there on the palate, cinnamon, nutmeg, like more like a baking spice. Almost kind of leads me to like an American oak. There's like a tomato skin, which is kind of odd. Kyle actually, my husband is a chef, gets that. And I get that as well sometimes on Chardonnay, which is a little bit different. And then also there's a lot of vanilla here as well. This wine is definitely more fruit driven and it's got a lot more oak kind of contact on it. And definitely, I feel like this is American oak. Phenolics, like we talked about, that does have some bitterness to it, low tannin, medium acidity, I would think on that, and medium alcohol. The bodium is medium. The acidity is actually pretty good for this. I think it is. Medium, it's creamy, balanced. It's very well balanced. I would say medium plus. Complexity is medium plus. And now I'm already changing my assessment. I can already tell you that because I was all about like this is tropical. And I definitely thought that this was a Chardonnay. I'll just let you know, I'm already thinking that this is definitely a Chardonnay and it's California. But now, since I went to the palate, I just totally changed my assumption and I'm like, okay, this is probably gonna be from Europe, and this is because all of the acidity on it. Which you would not get this one on a blind tasting test, but I'm definitely thinking it's a warmer climate. And then I would start calling things. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that portion as well. So this would be where you would come in and you would start doing your initial conclusion. So my initial conclusion on this would be, this is either a Chardonnay, a Viognier, but I do know it has butterscotch flavor, so I think it's got malolactic fermentation on it. And I am gonna change that to French oak instead of American oak. Before I make that initial before I make the initial, I want to go back and say that, because now it tastes to me like it's French oak, because they get more like that cedary quality. So for my initial, I do think it's either a Chardonnay or a Viognier. Those are the two grapes that I would definitely go with on this. It's very tropical, very floral, but I don't really get like any kind of fruit loopiness or anything like that, so I'm still leaning more towards like a Chardonnay. And I would go, okay, well, this could be a Chardonnay from Burgundy, or it could be from southern France. I definitely think that the country is France, but just to be safe, we'll call out Italy, because Italy has Chardonnay too. That's another one that it could be. So I'll say Italy, or it could be France. And the region right now, I'm thinking the Languedoc, or maybe like Macon, like in Burgundy, maybe like a lower area. And the quality, I would say it's great quality. I don't think it is a Grand Cru or a Premier Cru. And the vintage on this, called 2018, I think it's, well, in my initial, I would say like it's 3 to 5 years. There's a lot of yellow color. And so then my final conclusion, I would say this is a Chardonnay. This is from France. This is from the Languedoc region, which normally you probably get a Chardonnay from like California, or you would get it from France and Burgundy most of the time. And I would say this is a great quality wine, and the vintage is 2018. But that's how you call this wine, and I would do this wine in like 4 minutes. For me, I'd probably do it in 3, but right now we're doing it, so it probably took me 10 minutes to get to the final conclusion. But that is how you do the wine. But honestly, if I didn't know anything, I would definitely be very confused right now, because I usually would think this would be a California wine until I tasted all that acidity, and then I would be like, well, I know it's not Burgundy because it's very tropical, and that would lead me to somewhere completely different. And this wine is from the Languedoc, and I could definitely see somebody calling this a Chardonnay from like Sonoma, because Sonoma is going to be more acid, and it's going to have that butterscotch like component to it. But you'll get more acidity because of the coast, and Napa is like a lot hotter, and then you kind of start to figure out, hey, where can this be from? But this is a Chardonnay, and this is from the Languedoc, and this is a great wine to have with creamy dishes, which right now we have a lot of things like that have cream in them on the menu, like the chicken pot pie would be really good. Actually, the grilled chicken Caesar would be really cool with this. Chicken salad sandwich would be really good with this. This is a great little wine. If you want to have a white wine with soup, you could do this, especially like with a cream of mushroom. If you want to do that, I prefer like a bubbly, for my soup, so I would do more like Cava or Champagne. But if you want a white wine, this would definitely work. And the ham and cheese croissant. So anything that's kind of got like a creaminess to it too, Chardonnay is great with. And this is a great little wine. It's not super expensive. We have a 2016, which is even older, and then we have the 2018 vintage. So, the 2018 is just a little bit brighter. But anyway, this was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, thanks.